Hope you guys are doing good. So I'm going for a little evening walk here in Pelee Island, Canada. Rained a lot earlier today, so unfortunately I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted to, but at least got a little bit to do. But now the sun's out and it's a lot better now, so we're going for a little walk. The one good thing about the rain was it helped cool it down a bit because it was pretty hot. So we're going along. Can't really see the lake from here, but it's just behind these trees right here. So yeah, we're just going for a little walk. There's a couple streets that are up ahead. I'll take you down them. Not going to go too far down one of them because I was walking there earlier and luckily they were all friendly, but there were some dogs that were down there and I don't want to disturb the people that own them again. So, but we'll still walk down a couple streets and then we'll walk along the water here and show you guys some stuff. So the lake's right, like I said, the lake's right over there through the trees. There's a little bit of the lake right there, Lake Erie. Here you go, you get to see a little bit more of the water here. So if you saw my live stream from last night, I mentioned that was in the U.S. right there. There's the Perry's Victory Monument from the War of 1812. And that is Put-in-Bay or South Bass Island. There's some smaller islands over here. They're in Canada. That's a pretty nice sunset right there. There's the last ferry heading off for the evening right there. So if you just joined the live stream, currently in Pelee Island, Canada right now for my summer trip. So I'm going for a little walk along the lake. So like I said earlier, that island's in the U.S. These smaller ones over here are in Canada. So we're going to go for a little walk down this street and then we'll come back and go that way. So here's a really big tree right here. I think that's like 200 odd years old. While these trees over here are much newer. If you're just joining the live stream, I'm going for a little walk on a street in Pelee Island, Canada. And after this, we'll head back to the main road and I'll show you guys the lake. There was an old truck over here I saw earlier today, so I'm going to show you that real quick. There it is right. So now we're going to head back towards the main road. Hey, Brennan, how are you doing? Hey, Kelly, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. So I'm currently in Pelee Island, Canada right now, which is the most southerly place in Canada you can visit. Going for an evening walk. So we're coming on the lake here in just a moment. Just going down a little street. So how's everybody's evening doing? So there's the lake in front of us right there, Lake Erie. Hey Tyler, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. So here's Lake Erie. We got a nice sunset right there. So those islands over there in the US, and then these islands over here are in Canada. So that over there is Put-in Bay, or South Bass Island. And then this here, middle or upper bass. I'm not sure which one's which. And like I said, that one right there is in Canada. So yep, going for a nice evening walk. I didn't do that many things today because it rained throughout the afternoon, but the one good thing it did was to help cool things down a little bit. So it's a little warm right now, but not too hot. So that's pretty nice. That is definitely a pretty view right there. So this island has a lot of farms on it. So we're coming up on a soybean field right now. Let's get out of the way of this truck right here. So there's another farm that's next to this one that has produce. Got some corn earlier, and I have that for a snack later on, but nice little setup. So like I said, there's the soybean field right there. And there's Lake Erie. Nice sunset over there. If you're just joining the live stream, currently going for a walk on Pelee Island, Canada right now for my summer trip. Just enjoying a nice evening, and then we have a great sunset right there. Pelee Island is definitely a neat place right here. And I don't know if you could see it, but right off there is one of the ferries that just left about half an hour ago from here. And back to mainland Canada. Got some type of duck over there in the water. Can't tell what it is from here. Definitely beautiful sight, both here on the water and also over here in the fields. Growing some soybeans. So there's the dock right there from the ferries. Hey Savage, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. So going for an evening walk here in Pelee Island. Didn't do that much today as I would have hoped because there's a storm that came through in the afternoon and that kind of messed up a lot of plans, but at least right now it's done and we have a really good sunset. "30 kilometers. Like I was mentioning earlier, there's a produce stand over here. Picked up some corn from them earlier. I'm gonna have that as a snack later on. But the crops that they grow here are pretty similar to that of Ohio. There's soybeans over there, there's cornfields and things like that. It's pretty similar overall. Definitely a pretty nice evening. It's definitely better than a lot of the evenings back at home where it's like mid 80s, even in the low 90s. So it's definitely a lot better weather up here compared to Ohio. So if you're just joining the live stream, going for a walk in Pelee Island, Canada right now, the most southerly inhabited place in Canada. But yeah, I'm definitely having a good trip so far. This is definitely a neat place. Place I'm staying at right now is actually one of the best places I've ever stayed at. It's pretty neat. It's like a little cottage. So here's the ferry that I was on yesterday to get here from Sandusky, Ohio. And as I mentioned earlier, there's Put-in Bay, which is in the U.S., and the little marker you see in front of you is the Perry's Victory Monument from the War of 1812. So that's in the U.S., and the smaller islands over here are in Canada. And then we got a really beautiful sunset right there. So tomorrow I want to see much more of the island. Hopefully we don't have any more rain tomorrow, because I unfortunately wasn't able to see a whole lot of stuff today. Just saw a couple small things. Went to the Island Museum, which is pretty nice, and things like that. So if you're just joining the live stream, I'm currently in Pelee Island, Canada on my trip and going for a little walk. Enjoying this nice, beautiful evening. Wait for this car to pass by. Yeah, last night I was watching the sunset a little bit, so eventually the sun is going to dip right into the water pretty much. Like, you slowly see it set until there's nothing left. It's pretty incredible to see. And along the way, they have like little benches like this where you can sit down and admire the scenery. It's definitely a really beautiful place, Pelee Island. So tomorrow I'm going to visit a lot of places. There's a lighthouse on the northern side of the island. There's some trails in the woods. About 2-ish miles south of here is Fish Point. That's the furthest south that you can go in Canada. There's technically an island that's further south than that called Middle Island, but it's owned by the government. It's part of the Canadian National Parks, so you can't go there, but where I'm taking you is the furthest south that you can actually go. There's a store about 5-6 miles up the road this way called the Pelee Island Co-op. I went there to the store today to pick up a couple things. So there's that. There's some restaurants off this way. Also some on the north side. So most of the goods come through the ferry, whether this one or the other one I showed you a moment ago. And then during the winter, the lake freezes over, and they usually fly stuff in for the winter. But yep, they do have groceries here on the island. So like I say, yesterday I took this ferry, the one you see in front of you, to get here. And it was a really enjoyable ride. It takes about an hour, 45 minutes to get here. But you see plenty of things from the water. It's boat's not rocking or anything. It's a very good ride. So for those of you who didn't see the downtown yesterday during my live stream, I'll take you guys down there now so you can check it out. So I showed you guys this yesterday. It's pretty neat right here. You have a little flower pot with a Canadian flag right here. There's a birdhouse right here with a Canadian flag on it. Pretty neat. So now we're continuing on towards the town. So this is the most southerly town in all of Canada, and pretty much just about everything you see is the most southerly of its category in Canada. Like, for example, this is the most southerly pier in Canada. Looks like they're doing some construction on this building right here. So the ferry that I took to get here yesterday, they dock it here during the summer, and then during the winter they bring it to the mainland, because like I mentioned, this will all freeze during the winter. The school is about 5-6 miles up that way. I passed it by earlier when I was going to the co-op. There actually is a sign on the school that says most southern school in Canada. So they only have one school on this entire island. There's about 200-ish people that live here year-round. So K through 12, they share the same building. So here's Pelee Island cone heads. You can get some ice cream cones and hot dogs, etc. there. There's a little putt-putt golf place right there. Here's the Pelee Arts and Collectibles. Here's the City Hall. So as I was saying earlier, much of the places here, the most southerly of their categories. So this is the most southerly City Hall in Canada. Here's the most southerly mailboxes. I think so, yeah. Here's a little gazebo. There's the ferry again. Here's the Westview Tavern. Here's the Heritage Center Museum. I made a video in there earlier today. Nice little museum. So here's a plaque about the development of Pelee Island. So it's in English on this side. And it's in French on this side. It's definitely a neat little town. So we're gonna walk over to the gazebo. I didn't notice this yesterday. It looks like they have a Christmas star right here with lights. Yeah, like I said earlier, during Christmas time, the lake could be almost completely frozen right here. So like I said earlier, here's the most southerly city hall in the country. Here's the most southerly mailboxes in the country. sun looks really neat now. So like I said, after a while, the sun will pretty much sink down below the horizon. It was neat seeing it last night. We'll wrap up the live stream in a moment, but real quick, I'm going to show you the sunset again. That is just pretty right there. Lake Erie. And there's the ferry right there. Well, that about wraps up for the video. So, I'll bring you guys some more content tomorrow, but just a heads up, there's a possibility I might not be able to upload anything because the internet connection, unfortunately, isn't the greatest, but I'll try. So, in the meantime, please like the video, please comment on the video, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.